So where are we in the market right now? Is it bullish? Is it bearish? What should you be doing? These are all the kind of things I want to talk about in this podcast today, because I'm super bullish and I want to help make you super bullish. And you should be, because you've been through a hell of a bear market. So let's get into it. The reasons why you should be bullish is stop looking at the price for starters. That'd probably be a big one. Yes, we're in a downtrend, but we always kind of knew that we'd be ranging between the 20s, and I said 40,000s, but it doesn't look like it's going to do that. It did go over 30,000, but we're ranging, and we've been range bound all year, and that's kind of to be expected. We've had some big pushes up based off news and then straight back down. So the market has been tossing around just between itself. There's no new players into the space. But that's going to change soon. We've been in this bear market for over a year. End of 2022 was when we really hit the bottom, I guess. And so we've kind of been moving out of it since then. So it's kind of clear to me that the worst of it is behind us, just based off time itself. We simply don't have any more negative, bad things that come out of the space. There's just a lot more positive things going on in the space. Price not quite reflecting that yet because new people aren't pricing it in. So let's talk about the big things that I think are coming up. So there's a lot of talk about these US Bitcoin ETFs. And I said US because there's Bitcoin ETFs in most other major jurisdictions already. But the US obviously has a lot of money. The US has a huge financial system entirely. And so when that opens up, yes, I believe it will definitely be a push up in price based off the news. I don't think there's going to be huge amounts of buying per se at that point in time, but it allows a huge, much bigger inflow of price and buying pressure at that point in time. We'll see that as it goes on. The other one is the Bitcoin halving, which is 6 months away. So that's obviously the cut in supply of Bitcoin. Always been, an instigator of the bull market in many ways, shapes or form. So you combine that with the Bitcoin ETF, all these places like BlackRock are going to be bringing in their Bitcoin ETFs. What are they going to sell people on and why you should be doing it? Well, they're going to talk about that Bitcoin halving theme as well. So don't sleep on that. Right now the market is super apathetic. Like if you're actually watching this, there's not many people doing that right now. Most people are getting tired and bored and they're walking away. This is just the time to really sit here and double down and be in the space, because these things are starting to line up. The big macro conditions, I know so many people are feeling a lot of pain right now with all these interest rate hikes, with all this inflation pushing up the price of everything, and real wages not really going up at all. So people are really feeling that pinch, and I think that is peaking. There's a lot of indicators that show that all this macro pressure has kind of peaked. Could there be more interest rate hikes? Yes, sure, but they're mainly behind us, I think. So we're closer to the top of that cycle than we are the bottom. People are really hurting a lot, and so that's when we'll soon start to see governments wanting to try and switch that around. And I think the big instigator of that will potentially be the US going into a presidential election next year. The politicians will want to be able to spend money. They'll want to be able to talk up how they're going to use money to alleviate everyone's position there. And if the US starts spending, a lot of the other countries will start spending as well, because they don't necessarily want their dollar to strengthen. And they also want to spend. But if they spend now, they devalue their dollar, but waiting for the US to start doing it, and the US often leads a lot of that, then it allows these other Western societies to also start printing money. But it's already happening in many places. I know China's already doing. Japan just kind of seems to never stop. But we're talking about Europe, and we're talking about the UK, and we're talking about Australia obviously being able to then open up the taps a bit and start spending a bit more money and printing a bit more money. So I think the macro is turning. And so this is why we're getting a bit of a wave of everything kind of all going together here. Bitcoin ETFs, halving, macro conditions about to change. And so it's a good reason to be bullish. That and the fact that we've been in, since the start of 2022, I guess people would argue we've been through this bear has been continuing from. And so, it's a year and a half's worth. It's been going for a long time. So just based off of that time-wise, we've never had
crypto go so long into a bear without it really turning around. And I've always said before, I think we are in the bull, or we're in the start of the bull. And I still think that to a degree. I don't think we're going to be putting in new lows. I think we could go down further. I think we could easily go back down to the 20,000 mark for Bitcoin, which would just mean a great time to buy, in my personal opinion, because I don't see what news could come out that could push us further down. It's really hard to understand what kind of macro event could do that, because who at this point is going to sell the Bitcoin if it goes down to that point? No one really. And the other thing I'm really seeing is that, there's still adoption, there's still people coming into the space and building stuff. And I'm just going to talk about a few of the things that, I've seen on Solana recently, which is huge. Like Solana partnering with Shopify. And if you don't know what Shopify is, you've probably used it many times. So many online retailers use Shopify as their payment systems. And so if they are partnering up with Solana, they're going to use the Solana Pay system to allow people to do instant transactions. That to me is very bullish. It's very bullish for Solana as well, but it's people being able to access the space without even knowing they're doing it, which is huge. The other big one was Visa is potentially partnering with Sol as well, using Solana as their settlement layer, which is also like huge news. If Visa network is saying, hey, we think that we can do our payment settlements on a blockchain faster, cheaper, and easier, what a great adoption. What a great way to bring the existing system onto blockchain. And again, it's what we kind of want to see. We just don't want to see people having to go through the hard yards of figuring out blockchain. They're just going to start using it because it's just there in the background. And I think the Visa coming on board with something like that really kind of brings that into light, where people will be using blockchain and not even knowing it, because people use their Visa card. They don't even know really how or why it works, but they just do it. And I think this is going to be an example of where blockchain is being used and people don't even really know how or why it works. But really bullish for the space. Not to mention the conventions that are going on. Like Solana's having huge hackathons. They're getting thousands and thousands of people. And then the conventions that are going on as well. You got Permissionless 2 in the US, Token 2049 in Singapore. These guys are getting tens of thousands of people. You got Oz Crypto Conference coming up in Melbourne in Australia soon. Huge amount of people are turning up. People are here. People are interested. I think they're just a little bit afraid to buy right now. I still think there's a little bit of that in the market. So I think you should be buying. I'm personally buying. I think if prices go down, I'm just seeing that as a gift. I am actually, most of my portfolio is probably already in play. I've probably done most of my purchasing by now, and I've got a little bit still to go, and I'm okay with holding. I'm okay with holding what I've got at the price I got. I was happy with that. If the prices go a bit low, I'm happy with that. But if you're here and you're still in this space and you're still unsure because you think it's going to go lower, I think you're just setting yourself up for failure. I think you really should be starting to buy. You really should be in the market now, because yes, it could go lower, but if you're buying your Bitcoins, your Ethereums, your Solanas, your Matics, if you're buying the big boys like that, then you're not really going to care whether you got it at 50 cents or 40 cents or 80 cents in 2 years' time. So I think, stop thinking you're going to time the bottom, because you're not. This is close enough to the bottom, in my opinion. I just think if you think you can do better, then you're starting to kid yourself. So just dollar cost averaging, if that's going to be a way to make yourself feel better. But I think you should be in the market. I think we should be bullish. I think we should stop hammering each other that the bear market's going. Damn fly. I think we should stop worrying about whether it's going to go down further. Could it go down further? Sure, but there's just so many things going on, and when the macro is involved as well, it's hard not to be bullish. And I'm excited. I just want crypto Twitter to start being excited. I want people around to start being excited. So I'm going to go now because this damn fly keeps landing on my face. But be excited. We should be bullish. It's an apathetic market right now, but this is the time when you can make your life-changing amounts of money, because you're in the space, you're involved. Don't sleep on this. This is the time to really be engaged in the space, because we are close to that turning point, and it will happen quickly. So be ready for it.